Hello and welcome to my channel, Use Gaming. Here we are with a brand new MiHoYo IP, Honkai Star Rail, and the first featured 5-star character is Seele. In this video, we'll be taking a look at what a level 60 E0 Seele can do. Everyone's favorite aquatically inspired named animal, Seele, walks the path of the hunt, which means that she's primarily a single target DPS character. She is of the quantum element, of which there are actually only 2 characters that are quantum, and her kit is designed around hitting hard and hitting fast. Anyway, this game is absurdly new right now. It goes without saying that this release day showcase and guide video on Seele is based on very early information. First we'll go through a quick showcase, then we'll learn about her kit, and then we'll have a quick section on how to use her, some recommended builds, and finally some recommended teams, and last but not least, my thoughts about Seele and the future. Let's take a quick look at my Seele's build before we dive into a quick showcase. My favorite aquatic animal is at level 60. For her relic, she's using the 4-piece Genius of Brilliant Stars and the 2-piece Space Sealing Station. And for her light cone, she is using her signature light cone, In the Night, at Superimpose 1. Her stats are overall pretty terrible due to the very limited amount of time I've had to farm relics, although they are good for this stage of the game. Heck, I'm still using a 4-star relic. Anyway, we can expect a fully leveled and geared Seele to hit much harder. And her traces, which are her talents, are at 4, 6, 6, and 6, of which these can go up to 6, 10, 10, and 10 for an Eidolon 0 Seele. She is of course at Eidolon 0 throughout this entire video. Let's take a quick look at what an Eidolon 0 Seele at level 60 is capable of. As we can see, she's able to still output a ton of damage even while under-leveled against level 70 enemies in the Forgotten Hall floor 17. At level 70, Seele should have no issues wrecking this floor in the 3-star recommended number of turns. And as per typical Use fashion, let's also see how big of a nuke my Seele can do. $1,294,528 damage. So I did manage to get Seele to level 70 just in time for this nuke, but for the rest of the video she was at level 60. I am deathly curious on how much damage a level 80 max geared Seele can do. If you want a guide on how to nuke in Honkai Star Rail, do let me know in the comments below. Let's now learn about her kit. Seele's basic attack, hilariously named Thwack, is just as it sounds. It's just a very straightforward, single target, 1 skill point generating Thwack. At level 4, it does 80% of her attack as damage. Thwack gains a nice bonus at Character Ascension 6, which is raising your level cap to 80 by the way, which is going to take us quite a bit of time to reach. But when we finally do, using her basic attack will advance her forward by 20%. What this means is that it will be her turn 20% faster when she uses her basic attack. This makes using her basic attack much less punishing once we're able to get her to level 80. But obviously right now I can't showcase that since my Seele is at level 60. Let's thwack aside, because up next is her skill, Sheathed Blade. Her skill is quite straightforward, costing 1 skill point, dealing 165% of her attack at level 6, which is a little bit over double her thwack, and increasing her speed by 25% for 2 turns. This is her bread and butter ability, and since it both boosts her speed and deals twice as much damage as her thwacks, the speed buff also makes Seele an absolute monster in terms of attacking a lot. Up next is her talent, Resurgence. When Seele defeats an enemy, she enters a buffed state and gets an extra turn. The buff state increases her damage by a whopping 60% for 1 turn. Sadly, you can't get infinite turns because when you defeat an enemy with this extra turn, you don't gain another extra turn. Obviously, this is an incredibly powerful ability that actually makes Seele better than expected against multiple enemies. And at Ascension 4, Seele penetrates 20% of quantum resistance while in buffed state. This actually makes her also surprisingly good against quantum neutral enemies. Next we have her ultimate, Butterfly Flurry. Seele has mastered the Shadow Clone Jutsu and does a rather large 340% multiplier to a single enemy. It costs 120 energy, and very importantly, her ultimate gets the bonuses of the buffed state, which as a quick reminder provides 60% bonus damage and at Ascension 4 provides 20% quantum resistance penetration. This will be the largest amount of damage that Seele can output in any one turn. And last but not least, her overworld technique is very nice for exploration, as you can just sneak past enemies you don't want to deal with. Also, initiating a fight while she's in her stealth mode will provide her with 1 turn of the buff state at the very beginning of the battle. Alright, so now that we have a general idea of how Seele's kit works, let's talk about how we want to use her. Seele will want to finish enemies off when she has the chance, so that way she can get her free turn. Seele also really enjoys spamming her skill, since it does around twice as much damage as her basic attack, Thwack, and it also provides her 25% speed for 2 turns. Then you can stack as many buffs as possible on her and go for a huge ultimate to do terrible damage. A nifty trick with Seele is that although you can't get a free turn twice in a row, you can use her ultimate after your free turn. And the ultimate will count as the next turn, and therefore you will get another free turn when the ultimate one-shots an enemy, and you'll be able to actually one-shot 4 weaker enemies in rapid succession. For relics, I recommend going for the 4-piece Genius of Brilliant Stars with a crit body and either a speed or attack boots. Her second best 4-piece set is likely the 4-piece Musketeer set. For the 2-piece set, the Space Sealing Station is a good place to start because we have pretty early access to it. You want a quantum damage sphere with an attack % link rope. Later on though, the Celestial Differentiator and the Inert Salsado will likely be better options, but it's gonna take us a while to properly farm those. And finally, for her substats, you'll want as much crit rate, crit damage as possible, and add on some speed, and finally, any bonus attack % you can squeeze out is nice to have. As for light cones, well, it's clear that Seele's signature light cone is head over heels better than any other option. The best free-to-play option is the 5-star light cone from Herta's shop. What's especially nice about this is that you can even get it up to Super Imposition 5, at which point it will provide either 16 or 32% crit rate, as well as 40% attack from defeating an enemy. For teams, Seele is a very skill point hungry character. Both the healers, Natasha and Bailu, are great teammates for her, especially in the early game, since they mainly use their basic attacks and can generate skill points for Seele. Tingyun is also a great support as she's a skill point neutral support. Fire Trailblazer is also a great teammate because they can generate both skill points and full team shield. For big damage, you can also use Bronya, although it is hard to sustain your skill points with Bronya, but you can do huge damage when it counts. And finally, Asta is also worth mentioning as she is a pretty solid buffer that buffs speed and attack. But when it comes to team building in Honkai Star Rail, you generally want to bring characters that actually counter mechanics, so this is just a general rough idea of what teammates can work with Seele. Anyway, next let's talk about the future for Seele. I have no idea what the game holds for the future. Will Seele last with time, or will she be left behind in a power-crept meta? I'm personally actually quite optimistic about Seele in the future. We know roughly that Silver Wolf is going to be a future playable character, and she will be a ridiculously good teammate with Seele. And with Silver Wolf, all quantum as an element would be missing for a mono-quantum team is a survivability-focused quantum character. As for how strong Seele is as of release, Seele is clearly a cut above the current roster in terms of DPS, but I do expect future DPS characters, like even Jingyuan, to be as strong or even better than Seele. Nonetheless, I expect Seele to be the premium quantum DPS character for quite a long time. So yeah, let me know what you think about Seele down in the comments below, and also provide some tips for your fellow Trailblazers down there. And if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, I always put a ton of effort into these videos to bring you guys the best advice that I can. And also let me know what type of content for Honkai Star Rail would you like to see from me. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Win to Lose, signing out.